is unbelievable.
We have heard multiple gunshots. Never in my reporting career have I felt so vulnerable.
Chaos in Boston overnight, leaving one suspected marathon bomber dead, another on the run.
All of a sudden, you just see 100 cruisers pass by.
There is a massive manhunt. 7 News photojournalist Augie Conti grabbed his camera and hit record. We heard that rapid succession of gunfire.
Second suspect now in police custody.
As it all played out, 7 News was with it step for step. A very tense situation around the Boston suburb of Watertown as police cordoned off the area and kept members of the media at bay throughout the day yesterday. 7's Kevin Ozebek and his photographer, Augie Conti, ended up in the middle of what seemed like a war zone last night. Take a look and listen to this dramatic video they captured close to 7 o'clock. Well, you can see they're right in the middle of the action as law enforcement officials on the local, state, and federal level rushed to a house where the suspect was located. That's suspect number 2, located in a boat in the backyard. Now, here's an interview from the stepson of the man who found the suspect on his boat.
And Christina and Diana, this is one of the main roads that runs through this suburb of Boston. Very little traffic is now running through this road, and most of the cars that you will see traveling on this road now are police officers. We have just seen caravan after caravan of law enforcement traveling down this road since basically 1:30 in the morning when we arrived here on scene. Most of the side streets, as you can see, are blocked off. Right now you can see Boston police are blocking this side street. It's essentially, with the exception of all the police presence, a ghost town. You don't see anyone outside walking. Most of the businesses are shut down, and everyone is kind of hunkered inside their home. And that's exactly what police want homeowners to do. They've said various times this morning, please, please, please stay inside your home. It's not worth going outside with this second suspect still on the run. When we arrived here in the middle of the night, there was even a larger police presence than what you see right now. There was just a frenzy of officers arriving from the big city of Boston, coming to this suburb. All of them were looking for this suspect number 2. And what's interesting was, at times, officers early this morning looked frustrated. It looks like it was very chaotic for them, and there was a lot of confusion internally in terms of where exactly they should all be, what areas of this suburb are covered, what areas of this suburb are not covered, and where they need to go. A lot of the vehicles that are not obvious police vehicles actually are still law enforcement vehicles. They're just detectives who typically would drive an unmarked car. And it's just an absolutely incredible experience to be in a suburb in America, a suburb of one of the great American cities, and to have it look like this. Here's one of those caravans we've been talking about. You can see another one's rolling through right now. We've been seeing this for hours now. At times it looks like there will be an increased sense of urgency, and a lot of officers will move from one side of Watertown to the other side of Watertown. Exactly why that's happening, we're not sure. We're not sure if they're responding to some sort of intelligence or some sort of tip possibly about suspect number 2. Here's another one. You can see these aren't marked police cars, but these are in fact law enforcement vehicles. You can see they have the flashing lights on them. So just a surreal scene here in Watertown right now.
Kevin, you've been doing a great job covering the latest developments for us. Wondering whether you could walk us through the big developments that started last night and have now led us to where we are this morning.
Christine, the major development came around 5:30 p.m. yesterday, and that is when the FBI released surveillance video and surveillance stills of these 2 suspects. Maybe then around 11 o'clock at night, we then found out that there was a shooting at the MIT campus. At that point, we did not know and we did not think that that shooting at MIT would have anything to do with this case. A few hours after that, maybe around 1 o'clock in the morning, we then started hearing reports that there was explosion and gunfire happening right here in Watertown. At that point, 7 News moved here to Watertown. And then throughout the course of the morning, police started updating us and kind of filled us in, and were able to connect all the dots. And according to police, it turns out that the 2 men that were wanted in connection to the Boston Marathon bombing robbed a 7-Eleven near the MIT campus, shot an MIT police officer. Here we go. We can see another caravan coming, this one being led by an armored Humvee. We're probably talking about a dozen officers right now moving from one area of this city to the other. And like I said, this has been a constant thing all morning long. These are state police you see here, and police from every single level, from local, state, and federal, are here in the suburb of Boston right now. Sorry to interrupt that timeline, and getting back to the timeline, this morning when we were briefed by police, we found out that all of these events were connected, that these 2 people that the FBI wanted to speak to in relation to the Boston Marathon bombing did in fact rob a 7-Eleven, did shoot an MIT campus officer, then carjacked a person, held a person for about 30 minutes, and drove here to Watertown. And according to police, those 2 men had explosives on them and were shooting at police as police were pursuing them.
All right, Kevin, and now I'm being told we have the opportunity to speak to someone with some information for us to.
Craig and Belkis, this suspect that agents have been looking for about 24 hours was hiding right behind that home you see lit up behind me. Officers are still here at the scene. From what we understand, they are waiting to move the boat that this suspect was hiding in. Now, just maybe it was 30 minutes ago that we found out that that this suspect was in police custody. We want to show you now some video taken from here inside this neighborhood right after word spread that this person was now in custody. People who live right here came outside of their homes and they were cheering. They were saying congratulations and thank you to all the agents and officers who were here, who helped bring 19-year-old Jahar Sanayev into police custody. Wow, what a past 24 hours it has been. But let's kind of just focus in on this evening. And here's how this all started. After a long